A team of international experts investigating the origins of Covid-19 have all but dismissed a theory that the virus came from a lab. The conclusion was made by a WHO team on a visit to Wuhan, the Chinese city where the virus was first detected. There have been a number of unsubstantiated allegations that the pandemic could have resulted from an accident at a Chinese lab studying coronaviruses in bats. The WHO team in Wuhan have visited markets, research institutes and hospitals and say new information had been uncovered, but there was still plenty of work to do.
So in terms of understanding what happened in the early days in December 2019, did we change dramatically the picture we had beforehand? I don't think so. Did we improve our understanding? Did we add details to that story? Absolutely. Our initial findings suggest that the introduction through an intermediary host species is the most likely pathways and one that will require more studies and more specific targeted research.
Well, our correspondent Stephen McDonald is in Wuhan. He says 4 theories have been looked at.
The WHO scientists and their Chinese counterparts say they were looking at 4 theories. Number 1, that the coronavirus came from a specific animal and jumped directly into human beings. Number 2, that it went from animal into an intermediary animal, then into human beings. Number 3, that it's come from a frozen surface, possibly frozen seafood, into human beings. Number 4, that it comes from a lab leak. Now, in terms of that 4th, they're saying don't waste any more time and effort on that. We found no evidence of it. It would have been very difficult for it to have leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Such accidents are very rare, they say, and they said they couldn't find a single lab anywhere in the world studying a coronavirus just like this one. They like theory number 2, so that's animal, animal, human. And that's where they're saying that the effort needs to go now, much more research into that route. They're also recommending that globally, databases, scientific databases need to be much more integrated, sharing information, enabling tracking. They want more work to be done into the study of the survivability of the coronavirus on frozen surfaces. Now, they're saying that it can be transported over quite long distances on, say, a frozen fish. What they don't know is when it gets to the other end, if it can then infect somebody. One possibility is there's a combination of 2 of those theories. That is that it could be on a frozen wild animal. So a combination of being frozen and coming from a wild animal, and that's how it all kicked off. Either way, a lot more work needs to be done. They now have wrapped up here. They go back to their countries. There will be a final report though, but although they're saying they've made significant breakthroughs, they think they are further down the path of understanding the origins of the coronavirus, it's still going to take a long time, maybe years, until we can really pin this down.
That was our correspondent Stephen McDonald reporting there from Wuhan. Well, our correspondent John Sudworth spoke to Dr. Peter Daszak outside the WHO press conference in Wuhan. He asked him whether the absence of any evidence of a natural origin 1 year on surprises him. Daszak says it's only a matter of time before the source is found.
If you listen very closely to that press release, what you will find is that there is a clear indication of supply chains going into that market that take you from places where SARS-CoV-2 relatives are into that market. So there are supply chains going in from other countries as well, and there are reservoirs, animals that we know are susceptible to related viruses. Evidence of that was found in frozen food in that market. That was clearly stated in the press conference just then. I think that's a clue as to how something might have got in. We also know about the cold chain work, and there are also other ideas on the table. I think that, you heard the opinion of the team that spoke about the whole group and our opinion on the various hypotheses, and I think it stands alone as it is.
Given that this report rules out a lab leak, isn't your credibility on that a little undermined by the fact that you've been saying that even before you came here?
No. What you find here is a very large group of experts have looked at this. They've been to the various labs around the region, talked to people, asked critical questions, got critical answers, and they've come to their conclusion, and I have as well. And what they say is extremely unlikely, and that stands alone.
Our correspondent John Sudworth speaking there to Dr. Peter Daszak.